Good morning, back on a small pool. Can't get enough of it, especially with the bream and tench that have been putting in an appearance in the last couple of sessions. I cast out before I even set the tripod up. I haven't even touched my flask yet. The float went immediately. Got quite a big prawn on there as well, so I knew it wasn't a roach. It was a proper bite, not a fish playing around with it. Struck. I thought, this is a tench, definitely. Started to go on a run. I putting a little bit of pressure on. There are lilies and vegetation, branches and so on and so forth in the place. So that's why I'm fishing 6 pound line, a size 8 hook. A little bit of pressure on, and then I had a hook pull. Oh, common buzzard, a very, very low one, just above the surface of the water. Now it's rising and going into some far bank trees. Anyway, I had a hook pull. That was the bottom line. Good or bad? Well, a bit of both really, isn't it? Depending on how you look at it. Is your glass half full or half empty? No one likes to lose a fish, of course. But it does show that you've got potentially others out there. Although I have cast out again and I've got no movement whatsoever. But a couple of hours or so this morning, and let's see what the remaining 119 minutes have in store. Although not being too precise there, I'll probably go on beyond that. I've got a second bite of the cherry. It's giving me the run around. I've got enough open water though to keep it away from the aforementioned snags, albeit natural ones. However, now it's heading into some lilies which are closer to home. It is a tinker. Do you hear the splash? Let's hope I can be showing it to the camera as well in the landing net in due course. Almost there, almost there. So close and yet so far. Until it gets into the mesh of the net, I'll be happy. Come on. After all that, here it is. It's not a massive fish by any stretch of the imagination, but for a small pond it's okay, and considering all the stuff I've had to go through to get it on the bank, I'm more than happy. That fish did create a certain amount of commotion, to put it mildly. So I'm not expecting to get an immediate bite. I have cast out though. I'm fishing with prawn, and on arrival I mixed up a small amount of brown crumb, put some prawns in, got that out there, and then feeding prawns on a trickle basis in accordance with the bites, because it's not just the tench or the perch that you'll be keeping an eye on, or bream even, carp maybe, but also the small roach. They're the ones that will attack the prawn, erode it, and then in many cases when it gets to a certain size they'll actually take it and you'll catch them, which I always find quite an incredible thing when you get a tiny roach and it's been caught on a size 8 hook and 6 pound line. And roach anglers, of course, especially in the summer, pleasure anglers in general, match fishermen on the canals will tell you size 20 hook, 1 pound 6 ounce line, and so on, because that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? When you think about difficult conditions and catching that type of fish that you want to build up a good net, well, the summer's very different, of course. I wouldn't necessarily be doing all that in the winter, although I would, because I'd be targeting the other fish. I'm not actually after roach, but I wouldn't necessarily be expecting to catch as many as I have been doing in the summer months. It's a great time to fish, and if you know anybody who wants to start fishing, this is the time to do it. Don't get taking them out in January and February when it's -4 and -5, and even getting a bite sometimes is a result, never mind fish on the bank. Another tinker. Hook and hold on this one, trying to keep it as high as I possibly can, and the tactics worked. That's a nice one actually, much bigger than the fish that gave me the run around. It's lively enough now though. I'm covered in slime, but it's all worth it, especially for a tench of this size, which might not be a monster for many venues, but again, small pond, great fish. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. The memory of that initial lost tinker has long since faded. Back home, showered and changed. Here he is, Dilwyn, come on. Sitting by the side of me, loves to be on the videos. That was a very good session. I didn't even do 2 hours. It went very, very dead. Not because of a pike in the swim, but that was the feeding spell. And that's important, isn't it, when it comes to angling? And I think it's an important principle to take on board, that it's not the amount of hours you spend by the water's edge, but the quality. So get the feeding spells, which aren't hard to work out, early morning, late evening, and of course, during the night as well. And you don't necessarily need lots and lots and lots of hours to go fishing. You just be smart with your time. It might mean getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning at the moment. Days are getting shorter. It has been 3:30 at the height of summer, but put the time and effort in. If you can, obviously work and all other factors have a bearing upon our angling, don't they? But as a retired gentleman, I'm a man of leisure, so those things aren't necessarily at the forefront of my thoughts when I do plan. But over the years I have, so back to being serious. But it is about being intelligent, isn't it, in terms of working out when is the best time to go fishing. Dilwyn, as well as our Bedlington Terrier, we've got some stick insects. And when I arrived home just now, one of them has shed its skin. I might do a blog post with some more footage on the stick insects. We shall see anyway. But for now, let's enjoy the rest of the day and see what it's got in store for us. Hey, Dilwyn, he's retired. That's dogs, isn't it? They don't work. They just live a nice life of 2 walkies a day, lots of food and lots of sleeping. That's quite good really, doesn't it?